Welcome back to Behind the Badge, where we provide detailed analyses of real-life police interactions, exploring the crucial moments and decisions captured on Bodycam. Today's video covers a tragic encounter from Toledo, Ohio, where officers responded to a domestic violence call that escalated to a fatal shooting. In the early hours of December 7, 2020, Toledo police were dispatched to the Weiler Homes after receiving a distressing 911 call from a woman in a domestic violence situation. Shortly after arriving, officers were confronted by the suspect, who reportedly brandished a firearm and pointed it at them. What followed was a life-threatening situation that required immediate action. In this video, we'll walk through the sequence of events as presented during Toledo Police Department's press conference, analyzing the Bodycam footage and explaining the legal framework surrounding the use of deadly force in Ohio. Join us as we review the complexities of this case, examining the decisions made by law enforcement and discussing the lasting impact on both the community and police procedures. Let's get into the details.
Brian, no, just that can stay like that. Yeah.
Keep it down.
As I said, incredibly graphic and totally unnecessary. The next thing we're going to show, are we going to do the stills or?
We'll do next one.
Okay. This is stills of what you just saw from the body-worn camera. You can see the suspect coming around with the gun at the high-ready position. And here's one where an officer is illuminating him with his flashlight. This shadow you see here is an extended magazine which holds 20 rounds by itself. So in total there were 21 rounds in this gun waiting to be fired, and he's at the high ready pointing them at the officers. Again, his arm, hand, gun right there. That's why you saw one officer holding him down and another one come up and kick the gun away from his reach area. Extended magazine, which is against the law by itself. It was a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. As fast as he could squeeze the trigger, rounds were coming out of that gun. Just a different view of the same weapon. Okay. I want to apologize in advance for what you're about to hear. Extreme profanity and racial slurs are throughout this entire video. You can see the emotional and agitated state of Mr. O'Neill as you watch the video. I want to make sure we're all on the same page here, that we found out about this video after the shooting. So I'm going to go through the bullet points as I have before. 22 seconds in, you're going to hear, whatever's going to come to me, going to come to me. 28 seconds into the video, I might be signing my death warrant right now, or death certificate. 36 seconds in, if a MF come here and touching me, I'm going to die because I ain't going to effing jail. A minute 10, she's calling this detective, and if you come over with some rowdy AS, sorry, I'm trying to be politically correct here, I'm going to knock him out. And if he pull on me, well, let's just say the best MFer man win, because I ain't going out without fighting. A minute 36 seconds in. But at the end of the day, I ain't dying without taking somebody with the F with me. A minute 45 into the video. They coming with me, they coming. With me tonight because I ain't going alone. I ain't going alone. I don't give a F who she called. I don't give a F who she called. Brother, police, anybody. I ain't going alone. I'm ready. 2 minutes and 14 seconds into the video. This might record my death tonight because if anyone come to my MF house wanting to talk, I ain't saying S, and I ain't going to jail so they can come how they come. 2 minutes and 37 seconds into the video. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. You'll hear this multiple times. Now at 2:57, it's either make them come kill me or they can come kill me. I'm ready to effing go. 3 minutes and 12 seconds in, and if they pull, may the best man win. 3 minutes and 23 seconds into the video. F that and I'm ready. You'll hear this multiple times. And then you'll hear after that, you could hear in the 911 when he was yelling, you'll hear the similar things.
Hey world, how y'all doing?
just feel as though I have to record tonight. I feel some type of way, and whatever's gonna come to me tonight. I just might be signing my death certificate, so that's what it is. It is what it is. I'm ready, and if a motherfucker come here and touch me, I'm going to die, because I ain't going to fucking jail. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck who she called and how this work out. Auntie, I love you. Auntie, come get my daughter. She's not mentally sane to take care of my daughter. Don't give a fuck who see this. I don't. You know what I mean? Because I'm tired right now. She invited people into her house, started an argument. She starts an argument with me. You know, at the end of the day, she called him this detective. And if he come over here with some rowdy ass shit, I'm gonna knock him out. And if he pull on me, well, let's just say, may the best motherfucking man win. Cause I ain't going out without fighting. And she locked herself in the bathroom like I did something to her. She up there lying. She lying on me. This is how black men get killed. But at the end of the day, I ain't dying without taking somebody what the fuck with me. Don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. They coming with me. They coming with me tonight. Because I ain't going alone. I ain't going alone. Don't give a fuck who she called. Brother, police, anybody. I ain't going alone. So I'm ready. I'm ready. You know what I mean? I'm gonna sit this to the side. I ain't gonna talk, but I'm just gonna let y'all know it's gonna be to the side. This might record my death tonight, because if anybody come to my motherfucking house wanting to talk, I ain't saying shit. And I ain't going to jail. So they come how they come. And I'm recording everything. I love y'all. Stand by for the update, because I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let them come kill me. I'm ready to fucking go. You don't fucking hear? I ain't even without my child. And at the end of the day, any cracker, any sellout, black ass nigga, come in my face, we fight. And if they fool, may the best man win. The fuck out of here. Fuck that nigga. Fuck wrong with you. Fuck that nigga. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Don't cry now. You started all this shit. Don't cry. You started it. He started it. You started it. Don't cry.
Okay, some final notes. The female caller who was in the restroom became very uncooperative and didn't seek medical treatment on scene. The infant was in the home unharmed. She wouldn't give us any information, name, age of the child. LMHA will be providing support services to the victim and to the surrounding neighbors. Obviously, that was a dynamic situation that night. No police officer wants to use deadly force. I can tell you that right now. I've been doing this job for 30 years. The investigation's not over. We still have to do interviews with the officers and any witnesses. There will be a firearms review board, as in the case with all of these officer-involved shootings, and the final packet will be delivered to the Lucas County Prosecutor's Office for presentation to a grand jury. Any questions? That if I can't answer, we have some detectives here with us.
Chief, when you watched that video, how many shots were fired, and do you feel that all of them were justified by the 4 officers?
32 and yes. What watching a 2D video doesn't give you the real perception of what that room looked like, that room was probably a quarter of the size of the room we're standing in now. We have 4 officers who enter that room, and we hear, "I'm going to die, I'm going to die," and they see a person come around the corner with a gun pointed at their face. Now, that wouldn't be the time where they would have said, "Lieutenant Lenhart, you handle the threat, I'll have your back, I'll be a watch." All 4 of those officers perceived a threat to them, rightfully so. God knows if they waited, how many rounds that person could have fired. And we already have one tragedy here. Now you could have had 1 or 2 police officers being shot. So, yes, if 32 rounds does seem excessive, but you have 4 officers in that space, all with a gun within 5 or 6 feet to their face. So I do not have a problem with that at all.
After the fact, why did they not immediately render aid? If 32 shots were fired, did that suspect still pose a threat to the officers at that point?
Well, you got to remember, we have a victim that's upstairs. Our first responsibility is to make sure that that woman and that baby is okay. That's why you saw the officer holding the gun on the suspect. The minute we made sure that she was okay, you saw the video, you heard it. They said, doing life-saving measures, called for fire to come in, and you could see the officer doing CPR. So we have to make sure that the scene is secure first before we start getting ahead of ourselves.
That way they went to handcuff him before rendering that aid?
Yes, yes.
Hey, Chief, can you talk a little bit about how officers, when they go into a scene like that, everybody thinks differently, they see different scenarios, and that not everybody just pulls their trigger once, everybody has a different reaction. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, we have 4 officers who are being confronted with an armed man. We have 1 officer who fired his weapon twice. We have 1 that fired it 7 times. We had an officer who fired 10 times. We had another one that fired 13 times. So it all depends on where they are in the scenario. I mean, if we have an officer behind another one, tactically that might not be the time to fire that many rounds. But each officer did what they felt at that time was necessary.
Chief, did any rounds come out of O'Neill's gun, and how many bullets landed on O'Neill actually?
He was hit 19 times. Was he hit 19? Yes, 19 times. And no, he never fired. And this is the question that a lot of police chiefs get in officer-involved shootings. A lot of folks don't agree with it. They don't believe in it. But the fact of the matter is, we don't have to be shot at before using deadly force. Those officers made entry. They knew it was a violent domestic violence scene. They were encountered a guy with a gun. If they waited to be shot at, they would have been very possibly killed.
Chief, last time we had this, I guess over 2 years ago now with the Lorraine and the Hudson one, you had us do a media shoot, don't shoot training. I guess, answer the question, if you will, of those who say, why don't you shoot to injure instead of, shoot to kill, when I know you've explained it before, but go over that again.
We're not trained to shoot to wound. We don't shoot guns out of hands. We don't go for legs. In that case, when a Toledo police officer or a police officer anywhere in this country pulls their gun to defend themselves, to defend others, that's a deadly force situation, and we're taught to shoot center mass. If we were trying to shoot a leg in a dynamic, stress-filled situation, you're going to miss. I don't remember the quote exactly or the statistic, but if you're a 98% shooter in the range, in a nice warm range where you can take your time and shoot, you're about a 25% shooter when it comes to stress and outside situation. So it's a sad fact that unfortunately at times law enforcement officers are forced to respond to actions of suspects by using deadly force, and this is a clear-cut case of that.
Chief, is it normal for officers to take about 18 minutes to respond to an incident like this?
You've got to remember it was a Friday night, and what the first thing they did was there was no one in service. So what you first heard was a general broadcast where you heard the dispatcher say, we have a domestic violence with injury, 630 Leach. And then, I don't remember the numbers, but a short time after that, you heard an officer say, you can give us a Baker, which means they finished their report from St. Vincent's Hospital, and they headed that way. Shortly after that, another crew said, okay, we're done with what we can do. We'll go ahead and respond. Domestic violence is a priority 2 call, which is just under 1. 1 is licensed sirens. 2 is we need you there as quickly as you can. So when we hear domestic violence or other priority 2 call, they try to wrap up what they're doing so they can get there quickly.
Chief, does that change at all when you have a dispatcher on the phone who is hearing a potential suspect yelling at the victim?
Well, I don't remember if she said she heard yelling, but if we knew more information, like if he was firing rounds into the bathroom, that would have bumped that up to a priority 1, and they would have sent the cavalry there. But based on the information that dispatcher and call taker had, rather, that stayed as a priority 2, and as soon as crews freed themselves up, they got there.
Chief, while this wasn't a standoff, at what point did you make that decision to bring in a potential negotiator?
In a situation like that, when we can hear screaming and yelling, and a call taker is telling us she's hiding in the bathroom whispering, he's threatening to kill her, he slammed her head against the ground, we're not going to wait, because we don't want that woman or that victim or whomever to be killed by that suspect because we wait. The officers did exactly what I would have done if I was out there. I would have kicked the door in the exact same way, and if they didn't, and God forbid something would have happened to that victim, then we would have had a whole other issue to deal with.
Did the officers respond properly by kicking in the door and then announcing themselves, or should they have said?
They knocked. They knocked first, but the suspect didn't answer. When they kicked the door in, they did exactly what they did. You heard it. They yelled, "Police," and we saw what happened. Sadly, I think this was going to be the ending. This is the ending that person wanted. I hate to say that. We see it all the time, but Toledo Police, unless something, piece of evidence or something else happens, I'm confident in saying that those officers did exactly what they were supposed to do, and they followed procedures the way we train them.
On a personal level, obviously your officers are trained to remain safe in any way they can, but how heartbreaking is it to see a situation like this where somebody still ends up dying?
Well, I don't know if you were looking at me during this. It affects you. I mean, you can wear the badge, you can be reporters, you can be whatever. Watching that is traumatic. And I'm telling you, those guys, this is the last thing that they wanted. De-escalation is always the goal, but in a situation like this, that person took that goal out of our hands. There was no way we could back out and say, hey, let's talk about this. He brought a gun to a fight, and sadly, this is how it ended.
And Chief, on that Facebook Live, he mentioned a detective.
I don't know what he's talking about. We're still looking into that, Captain Sergo, unless you know something. No, I don't know what detective he was referring to.
Mayor, when you watch that video, what do you see? Do you see the same thing that the chief is talking about? Do you feel the same way that the officers acted appropriately?
When I see that video, the first emotion that I feel is one of sadness, and that's because we are seeing a human life end, and it is hard to remember in cases like this, but Mr. O'Neill certainly had people who loved him, and if, depending on your faith, you might say that, he was a child of God and made in the image and likeness of God. That's what I believe. So to see him die is traumatic, sad, heartbreaking. However, I know that had our officers not responded the way they did, there is a very high likelihood that damage up to and including death could have occurred to the woman in the bathroom or the little 4-month-old baby. And I know she said on her 911 call that it was a 1-month-old baby. We think it was a 4-month-old baby. So there are, this story has no happy endings. But when you think about the mission of a police department to protect and to serve, I am struck by the role that our police played in protecting the life and welfare of the woman, the mom, and the 4-month-old. And I think I am overcome with that emotion more than anything else. I understand that we are in an environment where there's a debate about policing and de-escalation tactics, everything that you have asked or are thinking about asking. There is just no other response when someone is pointing a gun at your face than to respond the way these officers did. I don't know how to say it any more plainly. You know, you had Mr. O'Neill was standing about 6 feet away from these officers and was pointing a gun at them. We can have a debate in this country about the right way to police. There's no way anyone will convince me that the natural and appropriate response from those officers was to protect their own lives, and in so doing protect the lives of the mom and the baby. So that's how I see it. I can imagine others may disagree, but that's how I see it. I might also just say logistically, because I forgot to mention this earlier, you know, events like these are tough on a community, and I want the media to know that we pulled together we call it our rapid response team, which is a group that involves faith leaders, you know, civil rights groups, pastors, members of city council, and others. We had a Zoom call with the chief Saturday afternoon, and then we brought that group together again this morning at 11 and shared with them the video and the audio that you saw. So it's part of you know, part of our commitment to share information, including to.
Thanks for watching this video of Behind the Badge. This tragic event in Toledo serves as a sobering reminder of the dangers law enforcement officers encounter when responding to domestic violence situations. These are often high-risk calls, requiring officers to make immediate, life-altering decisions under intense pressure. By releasing body cam footage and providing detailed accounts, the Toledo Police Department demonstrates a commitment to transparency, helping the community better understand the circumstances of the case. At Behind the Badge, we believe that sharing these breakdowns encourages informed discussions on the complex realities of policing and the importance of accountability in law enforcement. If you found today's video insightful, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on real-life police encounters we analyze. Thanks for watching this video of Behind the Badge. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and join us again for more in-depth breakdowns.